This video is not going to be a full comprehensive programming tutorial. It's going to be sort of me just being the white rabbit where I'm leading you down a rabbit hole that you can choose to go down if you want to or not. Now I'm going to show you how I turned my website into a progressive web app, and what that means is it will be recommended in the browsers if it passes certain prerequisites, that it will be recommended in the browser for the user to install it on their device as a native app. So if they're on their phone or their tablet or even in a web browser on their desktop, they can install it to their operating system as a native app, or it operates sort of like a native app on their machine. Now this button here doesn't just automatically show up. There's certain code that's going on in my JavaScript file that makes this button appear if certain criteria is met. So this is not just a button that's in the top bar of my site all the time for everybody, and it's only certain browsers that will do it. For instance, in Firefox, this button won't even show up. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so here I am looking at my home page, or any page of my website. It wouldn't matter which page I was on. But I'm at the home page in Firefox, and you see no button. In order for this to happen in Firefox, you would have to, for the user to install it, you'd have to press this, which is a Add Tab to Taskbar button in the address bar. If you click that, then it's going to prompt you. See down here it says, would you like to pin Adam Khoury to your taskbar? So basically it's going to install it as an app. So different browsers are going to handle it differently. Let me go back to normal. So for Chromium based web browsers like Google Chrome or Edge browser, Microsoft Edge, the button will appear there for install. So I'm viewing this in Chrome browser right now. If I press install, it says install app. So I'll go ahead and install it, and there it is. Now you can see it's down in my, here, let me close Firefox. So it says, would you like to pin Adam Khoury to your taskbar? Yes. Okay, so there it is in my taskbar on my computer, and I'll close all my browsers down, and I'll click that, and now it's an app on my Windows machine. Now the same thing would happen for somebody who's on their smartphone or their tablet, and depending on the browser that they're using in their phone or tablet, they'll automatically get a prompt. Sometimes you wouldn't even need an install button. And here on my desktop there is the shortcut to the app that was automatically created. If I click it, the app opens up again. Okay, so like I said in the beginning, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time going really in depth on all of this code, but I'll do a rundown of the files that you're going to need to put in place to make that happen for yourself. So step one would be have a site.webmanifest. You see what mine is titled here? This file is site.webmanifest, or you can name it manifest.json, I believe. And really the site part doesn't matter. It could be poo-poo.webmanifest as long as it has .webmanifest. And at my site, I'm going to put in the description of this video the link to where this video plays at my site, and underneath is going to be the code for this web manifest. I'll put all of the code in there. And one thing you'll want to have are all of these files. The 192 by 192.png, the 512 by 512, and then your home page screenshot for desktop and your home page screenshot for mobile. So for instance, if I go to this path on my website, so there you could see I have those images all in place on my website in the images folder, and some are in the root directory. But this is just a screenshot of what my website looks like on phones or on mobile. when the screen is skinny enough. And what was the other one? Homepage wide. So I'll show you that one. PNG. And this would be the screenshot for anybody with a wider device, like a tablet, or the desktop users. And these other two files are just my logo. So you can see that image right there. So those are the 4 files that are in my manifest. And there's some other information in there that you'll want to fill out. And there's also versioning happen here. And the versioning is important if you want to, because what's going to happen is your site is going to cache differently within the browsers according to your service worker that you have. And I'm going to show you the service worker.js in just a second. And I'll have all of this code available that you can inspect at my site. And I'm going to link to the code in the description of this video. Now, whenever you version up, that will help cache bust everything. But so you want to have your site mostly done design-wise when you implement something like this. You don't want to be, making design changes or structural changes every 30 minutes while you have this running. You want to have it pretty much done, and then you set something like this up. And like I said, I showed you Firefox doesn't just give you the button or let that button appear in my top bar. I make that button appear in my top bar, but there's code in place that you saw that Firefox wasn't showing that button because Firefox and Chrome and Edge and Opera and all of Safari, whatever, they don't handle it exactly the same. But there's settings, like in Firefox I showed you I had to press a certain button in the address bar to make it happen. There's settings within each browser to make it happen if your site qualifies. And being HTTPS secured is one of the qualifiers. But there's also other qualifiers as well. So I'm going to offer you my code example for the site.web manifest. I'm going to offer you the code example for my service worker. And this is, you register the service worker within the head tag of your website. You also link to the site.web manifest in the head tag using the link element. And the service worker is registered through the script element. And I'll show you that in just a second. So this service worker is set to have a list of core assets to be cached upon install. When the user installs it, these things will be cached immediately. And this is a list of files that I want to have network first and dynamic. So this index, the home page, will always show the newest content on it. It will always show, if I put an article up or a new video tutorial, I want to make sure that the user who has installed it on their device always sees the newest articles, always sees the newest video tutorials or any changes that I make to my home page or any new content that's on it. I want them to always see a fresh version of that. So this service worker is set up to cache everything, but it also is set up to have some things stay fresh all the time and not cache. So it's also gives you an offline.html, which is something you would have to create. And it's just a page on your site that says, oh, you're offline. Would you like to try to reconnect? If they're not connected to the internet. And they can also, if they're not connected to the internet, the way the progressive web app caches everything is they'll have your site still up and running on their machine because it's all cached in. So they don't even have to be online, and your site will operate as a native app with all of the information it had on it when they installed. And here you can see this, the static version 3, the dynamic version 3. This is where you would version up. You version up right here and in your web manifest right here. And the next time they open your app, it will all of the caching will be dumped and it will recache everything. So I'll give you a code block with my site.web manifest. I'll give you a code block on the page where this video plays at my site for the service worker, and I'll give you a code block for an example of the top of my document. In the head element, I'm linking right here to the manifest, which is pointing to the site.web manifest. And here's versioning right there as well. And then you would have your service worker registered using script like this. And I'll have this available for you as well. So this script would go in the head element on as many pages of your website as you can put it. And I put mine, my head element is dynamic, so I have a template. So I just put it here, and it shows on, if my website has 50 pages, which mine has more than 50, but if my site has 50 pages, this is going to show up on every one of those 50 pages in the head element, and it registers the serviceworker.js. And here is code that I have commented out that unregisters the service worker. So if you ever wanted to roll back and get rid of this functionality, you can unregister your service worker using code like this. You just get rid of your site.web manifest and remove the service worker from your directory, and then you run the unregister when you don't want your site to be a progressive web app anymore. And the last little bit of code I'll be offering you is this here. It's in my the main JavaScript file for my website, which every page gets. Every page shares this code. So the last little bit of code in my core JavaScript file is all of this, which I'll be offering to you. Now what this does is, when the page loads, we're going to run an event listener of before install prompt. So this makes it to where that button, this install button, doesn't show up by default. It only shows up if my site qualifies to be a progressive web app in the whatever browser's viewpoint. So if my site qualifies, then that button, which I have set to in my main CSS file, I have that button that's in the top bar of my site, the install button, I have it set to display none. So by default it doesn't display, and this script here is what makes it display. So you can see install button, we have a reference to that, and then here install button style display inline, that makes it appear only if the before install prompt is activated. Then once the app gets installed, once the install button is clicked, then the prompt for installing is shown and all that, and then the install button is set to none. It goes away after the app is installed. So that's it. That's the basic setup that you'll need, and I'll show all this code on my website, the way you can inspect it and try to implement it yourself. And then if you need help, you can ask questions. You can go online into whatever your favorite search engine is and start asking questions and fall deeper down this rabbit hole if you like to. If you really want to understand all of the code at work and the methodology behind making your site into a installable app that people can install on any device that they're using, whether it be a phone, tablet, or even the desktop version. Now here at my site, I put up an article just now. It's called Progressive Web App Prerequisites. So you can go to that article, which I'll link to this article in the video description as well. So I'll have two links. I'll have one link in the video description to all of the code where this video is going to play at my website. And then I'll link right under that to this article. And if you want to, you can read this article, and it explains the Progressive Web App prerequisites and recommendations. Shows about the ideal candidate being mobile first, responsive, and secure HTTPS. It should also be demonstrably fast and reliable, loading content quickly and consistently across various network conditions. And then there's a bunch of other stuff in this article you can read. I don't want to waste everybody's time by reading all that on video, but you can absorb all this information on your own time. And like I said, all you have to do is go to any search engine and start asking questions there, and you'll be led to deeper and deeper and deeper down this rabbit hole. You'll be given code examples, and you'll be able to find out how to set this up in more detail on your own time. So I just wanted to be, like I said in the beginning, I just wanted to be the white rabbit that's hopping by, that piques your curiosity a little bit, and I jump down the little rabbit hole. And if you want to follow, you can. If you don't, you don't. That's fine. Now, the thing is, you see the install button is still here. Now, let's open this in Chrome again. Now, here's my website in Chrome. This is the browser that I use to install the app on my Windows operating system. So if I click that article, you see the button's not there. But in Edge, the button is there. That's because Edge doesn't know that I already installed that through Chrome browser. So it's giving me the install as well. And I believe what will happen is, if I were to install it on my machine again using Edge browser, that I'll have two versions of the app. But normally, most people, they're not going to be using multiple browsers. As developers and programmers, we all have every browser on our machine to test things with when we're developing. So that's why you see the buttons there. And there is actually code that you can put in place to make sure you can check to see if there's already a version of your app installed on the user's machine. Then you can have this button be removed if you put that code in place. But I don't have that code in place within my JavaScript here, my core, where the before install prompt mechanism is. Within this, you can have an extra piece of code that would try to determine whether or not the user has your app already installed on their device. And honestly, I'm not even going to keep this in place. Right when I'm done with this video, I'm going to go into my code and remove everything from the head element that I put in place for this. And I'm also going to remove the service worker from my root directory. I'm going to remove the site.web manifest, because I'm not done with my site design and changes yet. I still have a little bit more I want to do before I enable this again. But once I'm done dusting off the cobwebs of my site, then I'm going to put the functionality back. And then, once I'm done tinkering, because I don't want to be versioning once a week or every day when I make changes, because I'm going to be still making little changes down in the footer. I'm going to be making changes in certain different directories, like the videos directory. And this is all going to get cached. If somebody downloads my app onto their operating system and installs it there, this is all going to be cached, and they're not going to see the new changes unless I version bust. So I can just up the version to version 4, and then they'll see the changes. But I don't want to be going through all that rigmarole while I'm still tinkering on the design and the structure of my website. But if you're somebody that has your site or your client's site nailed down and they want that kind of feature, then you go ahead and put it in place. Or even if you are tinkering a bunch, maybe you're making changes once a week, you can just version up. And anybody who had installed your app onto their device, once you version up, they'll get all the new fresh changes. They'll see all the changes that you made. All you have to do is version up. Oh, I just wanted to add real quick, if you're in Chrome and you go into your developer tools, more tools, developer tools, and you go to application, that's where you can, the application tag, when you're normally checking console and elements and stuff like that, you go to the double arrows here and you'll see it application. If it's not showing in the tabs by default, you just go to the double arrow and you'll get a list. You select application and you can check your manifest, service workers, and everything else for the application. And you can see activated and is running. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this little crash course. Follow the white rabbit.